Welcome to the Freaky Stories podcast. Buckle up, folks, because we've got a double dose of the strange and unbelievable coming your way. Two tales that'll make you question everything you thought you knew about history, debt collection, and maybe even reality itself. You ready for a freaky probe into the chaotic world of time travel?
Absolutely. You, our wonderful listeners, have sent in some truly wild scenarios. But these two flash fiction stories, they take the cake, or maybe the time-traveling cake, for their sheer audacity and the unexpected consequences that unfold.
Okay, first up, picture this. A dusty old attic, cobwebs everywhere. That musty smell you just know means there are a million untold stories hidden in the shadows. Maybe even a creepy porcelain doll judging your every move. That's where two regular guys, Ben and Charlie, find themselves, broke as a joke and sifting through their grandma's forgotten treasures.
Now, you'd expect to find, I don't know, an old photo album, or maybe a vintage typewriter, right?
Right. But no, tucked away in a corner, behind a stack of moth-eaten blankets, they find something a bit more extraordinary. Not a first edition Hemingway, not a signed Babe Ruth baseball, but a full-blown time machine.
Talk about finding a needle in a haystack. Or should I say, a time machine in a pile of grandma's doilies. I mean,
Yeah.
what are the chances?
I know, right? It's like the universe has a wicked sense of humor, just dropping this life-altering device into the most ordinary of settings. So, what do you think Ben and Charlie do? Contemplate the mysteries of the space-time continuum. Ponder the ethical implications of altering history.
Not a chance.
Yeah.
These are two guys who can barely make rent, remember. Their first thought, jackpot, let's hit the historical lottery.
Exactly. Suddenly, every major event, every stock market fluctuation, every long-shot racehorse is a potential payday. History, in their eyes, becomes one giant, untapped ATM.
It's almost like they view the past as some kind of video game, right? Where they can reload and replay to get the desired outcome. But as we'll see, real life, and certainly time travel, has a way of throwing a wrench in the works.
Well, at first, it actually works out pretty well for them. Their first time jump, 1985, the target, Apple stock.
Ah, the good old days of shoulder pads and dial-up internet.
Right. They buy low, sell high, and boom, instant mini fortune. But what do you think that early success does to their mindset?
It's that classic gambler's high, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
That initial win probably gives them a false sense of security, like they've cracked the code. But of course, they haven't considered the potential ripples, the unintended consequences of messing with the very fabric of time.
And boy, do those consequences start piling up. Their next target, Caesar's chariot race.
Caesar, like Julius Caesar, the Roman emperor.
Oh, yeah, the one and only. And just to add a little spice to the event, they decide to give Caesar a pre-race boost. You know, a little something to help him conquer those laps.
Wait, hold on. Are you telling me they gave Caesar an energy drink?
Well, yeah, a Red Bull, to be precise.
A Red Gull.
Yeah.
In ancient Rome, talk about an anachronism.
I know, right? Like, that'd be funny, give him an edge. But it's those seemingly insignificant little tweaks that really start to unravel the timeline.
And it doesn't stop there. From ancient Rome, they jump to the Wild West, ready to clean up in a high-stakes poker game. And these guys, bless their hearts, they think they're so clever, marking the cards, rigging the game.
They were practically asking for trouble, weren't they?
Oh, absolutely. It's almost like they were testing the limits of time itself, seeing how much they could get away with before the whole thing imploded.
And implode it does. Glitches start popping up everywhere. JFK's motorcade makes an unexpected detour because, get this, Charlie spilled coffee on the driver.
Spilled coffee.
Seriously. I'm not kidding. And then the French Revolution hits a snag, not because of revolutionary fervor or political intrigue, but because Charlie, in his infinite wisdom, lost the instruction manual for the guillotine.
Oh, no. I mean, really, of all the things to lose in a time-traveling escapade, the guillotine manual, that's classic.
I know. And the results of these little mishaps, well, they're not so little anymore. The headlines are pure chaos. Caesar, thanks to his Red Bull-fueled chariot victory, has built a colossal chariot theme park, complete with gift shops and overpriced snacks.
Oh my gosh, I can already see the souvenir togas and gladiator helmets.
Exactly. And the Wild West. Well, let's just say it's even wilder now that poker is a chaotic mess with no clear inventor and even more dubious rules. What were once historical certainties have become a jumbled, nonsensical mess, all thanks to two guys and their time-traveling shenanigans.
It's fascinating, really. It shows how even the smallest actions, the seemingly inconsequential choices we make, can have huge butterfly effect ripples across time.
It really makes you think about the interconnectedness of everything, doesn't it?
Absolutely. But what about Ben and Charlie? do they finally realize the gravity of their actions?
Well, the universe, it seems, decides to step in and put an end to their little game. The time machine, having taken all the abuse it could handle, decides to call it quits. One minute it's humming, the next it's sputtering and sparking with bits of a waffle iron. Yes, a waffle iron flying out of its temporal exhaust port.
A waffle iron. Now that's just adding insult to temporal
I
injury.
know, right? And the reaction to the whole thing exploding, relief. It's like they've just stepped off a runaway train, a train that just so happened to be barreling through the delicate tapestry of history.
But knowing these two, they probably can't stay away from trouble for too long, right?
You'd be right. Charlie, in a moment of surprising groundedness, suggests they try to fix the antique cash register they found. Make a little honest money for once.
At least someone's thinking straight.
Mm-hmm.
But I bet Ben's already cooking up another scheme.
Oh, you bet. He's already suggesting they jump back in time, warn their past selves about the whole mess. The irony.
It just goes to show how tempting it is to try to control the uncontrollable, to think that we, with our limited understanding, can somehow manipulate time without consequence.
So what's the big takeaway here for our listeners as they process this first freaky probe?
I think it's a powerful reminder that our actions have consequences, often in ways we can't even imagine. Ben and Charlie started with the goal of getting rich quick, but they ended up rewriting history in the most absurd ways possible.
It's a cautionary tale, but a hilarious one that makes you question our obsession with controlling the past and profiting from it.
It also reminds us that even the most mundane objects, like that old cash register, can hold unexpected value and perhaps a lesson or two in living in the present moment.
All right, ready for another dose of temporal turbulence? Our next freaky probe takes us into the equally bizarre world of time-traveling debt collectors.
Debt collectors.
Sure.
Traveling through time. This I've got to hear.
Oh, it gets wild. I imagine the most soul-crushing dead-end job you can think of.
DMV clerk on a Monday morning.
Close. Try chasing down deadbeats for overdue bills, threatening pigeons for unpaid breadcrumb debts. That's the life of Max and Emily, our debt-collecting duo.
Talk about a thankless job. I bet even the pigeons give them the side eye.
Right. But one day, while sifting through a mountain of ancient overdue notices, Emily stumbles upon something extraordinary, an IOU. A very, very old IOU.
From like the 1700s or something, someone forgot to pay their blacksmith bill.
There's a 14th century. And the debtor, none other than Vlad Dracula himself.
Vlad Dracula. Like Vlad the Impaler.
Yeah.
The guy who inspired the whole Dracula
It's
legend.
the one and only. Seems old Vlad had a bit of a spending spree back in the day. Maybe overdid it on the castle decor or something.
I can only imagine the look on Emily's face when she found that IOU. It's not every day you stumble upon a centuries-old debt owed by a legendary and, let's face it, terrifying historical figure.
Exactly. And how does she react? Does she call the historical society? Alert the authorities?
Knowing this story, I'm guessing she does something a little less conventional.
You'd be right. See, their office, in a stroke of either genius or sheer incompetence, happens to have this clunky office time portal generator.
Well, what? Hold on. Are we talking about an actual working time machine in a debt collection office?
Yep. And it's about as reliable as a used car salesman's promises. Anyway, a smudge date on the IOU, a miscalculated setting on the portal, and bam.
Vlad the Impaler himself stumbles into their office.
Exactly. You can just imagine the scene. Max, mistaking Vlad for a particularly intimidating pizza delivery guy, tries to offer him a tip.
Oh, the irony. Offering a tip to the Prince of Wallachia. I bet Max regretted that real quick.
You bet he did. And from there, it's just pure, unadulterated chaos. Vlad is just the tip of the historical iceberg. Seems like everyone who ever owed a dime throughout history decides to drop in for a visit.
So their office turns into a historical who's who.
Pretty much. You've got Genghis Khan craving Mongolian BBQ, Cleopatra needing a touch-up on her eyeliner, and somehow managing to negotiate pyramid contracts with a bewildered construction foreman. It's like a historical convention gone horribly, hilariously wrong.
Talk about a culture clash.
Yeah.
I could just imagine the looks on those historical figures' faces as they try to navigate the modern world.
I know, right? The possibilities are endless. Joan of Arc settling her library fines with a video game duel, Blackbeard opening a surprisingly stylish pop-up barbershop, and perhaps the sweetest of them all, Marie Antoinette finally reconciling with a baker over that whole let-them-eat-cake debacle.
It's almost heartwarming in a totally bonkers kind of way.
Right. But amidst all the laughter and historical cameos, Max, ever the voice of reason, raises a very valid question. Think we broke something?
And the answer's probably a resounding yes, right? They've ripped open the fabric of time, brought historical figures into the modern world. The potential consequences are mind-boggling.
But Emily, bless her chaotic heart, just shrugs and says, "No, we just bent the rules a little." Last we see them, they're drowning in paperwork, surrounded by confused historical figures, with Genghis Khan trying to jam a scroll into the office printer.
It's the perfect image of utter pandemonium, a reminder that messing with time, even with the best or worst intentions, rarely goes according to plan. So what's the big takeaway for our listeners with this second freaky probe?
I think it's a reminder that the past, despite all our attempts to analyze and understand it, will always hold an element of mystery and unpredictability.
And that maybe, sometimes, it's best to leave those mysteries undisturbed, to appreciate the complexities of history without trying to force our modern-day perspectives onto it.
So there you have it, two freaky probes into the wild world of time travel. Who knew that betting on the past could rewrite it, or that collecting debts could turn your office into a historical theme park?
It's definitely a reminder that even the most mundane aspects of life can take a turn for the strange when you throw in a time machine and a healthy dose of human curiosity.
And who knows, maybe those unbelievable stories are closer than we think. Maybe that old clock in your attic is more than just a timekeeper. Maybe that dusty old book holds the key to another dimension.
Or maybe, just maybe, we should stick to binge-watching historical documentaries instead.
Probably a safer bet. But whatever you choose, keep those freaky stories coming, folks. Rate and follow the Freaky Stories podcast for more dives into the delightfully strange. And remember, sometimes the most unbelievable stories are just a misplaced decimal point or a dusty attic away.